My second video out is going to be on OnlyFans. And this is because it arose out of a thing that you and I have tried to do, which is when we don't understand something. And for us, it was, why are people voting for Donald Trump? Why is PewDiePie popular? Mm-hmm. Why is Justin Bieber popular? And what we were talking about was, how come people are paying for OnlyFans in this age of the internet, when pictures and videos of sex and naked women are everywhere for free?
Yeah. This is a misunderstanding of what OnlyFans is, but the question was, why are people paying for porn when they can get it for free?
Yes.
And the answer is, they aren't paying for porn.
And a couple of times we said, we had the dumb knee-jerk reaction, which is, these guys are dumb. You know, like, and any time that there's a social wave, it always takes me a minute to actually go, oh, damn, I did it again.
Yeah.
Where I'm writing a large and growing group of people off as dumb, underinformed, etc. It always turns out that I have something to learn.
Yeah. We don't understand fully the psychology of an OnlyFans person or subscriber.
Yes.
And we're working on it.
Yes. So the video is going to be on the psychology of the OnlyFans subscribers.
Yeah.
What some call simps. I don't know if we're going to include simp in the title. But I don't know if it's worth talking about my initial findings, which are very tenuous at this point, or if we should just wait till the video.
It's up to you.
Yeah. So it's certainly not just porn, which is to say that I don't mean that there's additionally personal trainers on OnlyFans, which there are. You are paying for a degree of connection that is, for instance, well, there's two main categories I see. One, they've nailed the gamification and the tricks that social media use to get you to open stuff. So, for instance, once you join someone's OnlyFans, which is a site, for those of you who don't know, where you subscribe for $5 to X amount of dollars per month to get free content, not content. At that point, it comes to you from this person. Often it's a woman. Often they are lewd or nude photos. So you get that, and then there's all these upsells. But the upsells come in the form of oftentimes like a Snapchat, which is to say, hey, I have this sexy video waiting for you. It's $10 to see what it is. I think you'll like it. And the fact that it's behind this paywall, and you're like, but what could it be?
Yeah.
If you've ever had that Snapchat that somebody sends you a video, and normally you would wait longer, but you can't because you got to see it, they exploit the hell out of that.
Right. And as soon as you click, your credit card is banged.
Yes. As soon as you click, it's hit. So they've got fantastic gamification in some of these live chat rooms. They have literal Keno games from Vegas, which is like there's these number boards and you donate a certain amount of money to try to hit a number. And if you get that number, the girl on camera, it's usually a girl, will do something. She will take her top off or something. But there's this Vegas vibe to so much of it, which is driving a ton of it. And I even I'm for research, I'm going in and checking it out, and I felt that like, what's it gonna be? Like you're like at the roulette table, you're rooting for this guy to get it. So
they're combining. So whereas porn is just to look at what's happening, they've combined elements of direct response email marketing and casino addiction, dopamine dump type psychology. Porn
is 1-to-1. This is variable schedule rewarding.
Yeah. Which do you want to talk about the rat study?
Go ahead.
I mean, yeah, so it's basically, I think it was rats, but basically they did this study, this is true of humans as well apparently, that if a mouse or a rat pushes a button, a treat comes out. Every time they push the button, a treat comes out. They will push the button until they're full, and then they'll walk away.
I think it was pigeons, actually, the Skinner box. Yeah.
Okay. If sometimes when you push the button, food comes out, and sometimes when you push the button, it doesn't, they push the button forever, always trying to get the next hit. And when they miss, they keep going far past how much they would want to consume if it were just a mechanism to release food every time.
And far past, like, they'll just quit if it's one. Like, if, for instance, if you go to a Pornhub and you're used to, I click a video, it comes, I click a video, it comes up, I click a video, it comes up, and you go one day and it just doesn't come up, you're like, oh, it's broken, I'm done. Versus if you're playing this game in this live chat and you donate and you don't get it, you're like, well, gotta go again.
Yeah.
So you'll give a lot more money. So there's this crazy psychological limbic hacking that's going on that is, in my opinion, unethical as it is in other casinos.
A great way to think about it is like whatever your odds are on roulette, right? It's like 90 cents on the dollar. If the way you played roulette was you just gave someone $1 and they gave you 90 cents back, you'd never play. But it's because they take it, and then they give you $5. Well, and then they take it. You
know what's weird is casinos money to money with a game in between. But there's actually no money coming back. So you can even make the argument that this is more ethical because it's like, well, what you got was the rush and then a flash, you know?
Yeah.
So they've got that element. But there's also this fake personalization going on, which is these women have thousands, if not tens of thousands of fans, but they will speak, old email trick, in second person. Hey, I know you're going to like this. I made this just for you. And then that video goes out to so many people.
Well,
Sometimes,
and they can auto-populate. When you sign up, you give your name. So a text can have your name.
Yes.
An email can have your name. It can say, hey, Charlie.
And if you pay more money, they'll say your name, do the particular thing that you want. But what's interesting, and I did one interview so far, is that things that are important.
I love how deep you're going. You interviewed an OnlyFans subscriber or an OnlyFans woman who makes content.
Who makes content. Should do a couple more. But a couple of things, she said, consistency is critical. Like if you don't provide a place for them to go within the live camming or like consistent photos, people drop off immediately. It's got this comfortable routine that is built into it. It's a place to be. It's a place to fill your time and something to do. And it's like imagining that website that you just automatically go to. Imagine if it were just down randomly. Like you'd kick the habit of going to it in favor of something that was more reliable. So there's this consistency element. There's also the tier 3 subs, or what they call, or like the highest level, depending on how stratospheric the personality is, will often have access to this person, such that they'll do phone calls, text messages directly with them. And you're paying for a connection, for what is part friend, part girlfriend, part therapist. And it's not always naked, which is the interesting thing. This is completely not offered on Pornhub, which is that human connection. And it got me thinking how my first thought was, oh, that's so sad. The people are paying for this human connection. And then I realized, I was like, wait a second, like I used to get my friends to pick me up at the airport, and now I get an Uber to pick me up at the airport. And like I used to get, used to have to be your girlfriend that gave you a massage, and now I get it from Soothe or down the street. And it just made me realize, like, wow, I've been outsourcing human connection for years and years and years. I've been transacting things that traditionally had to be done by someone that cared about you. And this actually isn't a great leap forward in any meaningful way. It's just the next step.
I'll steel man the people that are doing it as well. Other human connection isn't costless either.
Yeah.
So this is $1 for human connection, but the other human connection comes at some cost as well,
100%. So I continue. Do you want to elaborate?
No, I'm just saying. I really don't want to elaborate, actually.
Well, I'll let you elaborate. Well, because this is exactly what my next thought was like, well, why don't I want to? Well, I don't want my friend to pick me up because then I have to pick him up at the airport. Like I don't. And if my girlfriend gives me an hour massage, well, at some point I have to do something nice for her. And it's almost like this Marxist idea of everything has been boiled down into the dollar cost, such that I've purposefully chosen to. And I often will say, like, this is an argument that I got into. So someone that I'm dating made me food, and I didn't say thank you quickly enough when I was doing work, when she came to bring it to me, and I was doing work. I was like, hey, kept working for probably 5-10 minutes and didn't say thank you. And that precipitated a fight. And what I said, and I meant it at the time, I was like, honestly, I wish I'd just ordered, because I could have just given them a tip and moved on, and this has proven to be more difficult than that.
Sure, it was more expensive.
It was
because
more
it cost an hour of your time instead of a $5 delivery fee.
Yes, and she didn't like that at all. But I see now. I don't want to say the error of my ways, but how that is a short-sighted thing. I actually think that there's something that cannot be boiled down to commoditizing, and I think that there is value, and I don't know how I'm going to introduce this back into my life, towards in exchanges that are not purely even transaction, which with
like
regards
picking
to
your friend up at the airport.
Picking your friend up at the airport.
You think you now have rediscovered that you think that's a valuable thing to do.
I am peeking into that thing such that I might consider, like my parents come here all the time, and I'm like, get an Uber. You know what I mean? And they're like, no, come here. I was like, Mom, I love you. Get an Uber.
Yeah.
I'll see you when you get
Interesting. Here. What made you think this? Because for a long time you have had the sense of like, when Charlie go to the airport,
I will pay for me.
I will Uber.
Yes.
Ben, when you go to the airport, you Uber.
Yes.
That's the world I want to live in. Everyone take care of themselves.
Yes. Well,
so what has precipitated the switch?
Well, it's two things. One, I did MDMA. And so I'll take the second one first. Two, my thought with the OnlyFans stuff, which is how sad. Like, oh, how sad that they're paying for companionship. How sad that they're paying for someone to text them good morning and good night.
And you realize that's the same thing as you paying for a ride.
That's the same slope. That's the same. That is not a far cry at all. It's exactly the same line plus time and comfort from what I'm doing. So if there's a problem with that, then there's a problem with what I'm doing.
I think that's actually a great point. I'm not saying there is a problem, but I think it is fair to say they're the same thing on a different part of the spectrum. You know what I mean?
Yes. And so I think that I'll try to elaborate this idea that is coming to me as I'm saying it. The upshot of transactions, and the part of the reason I realize that I like paying for massages as opposed to receiving one, is because you're dead even. And I try to give a big tip. You know what I mean?
They're also value creative. So I'll defend Uber now. So if I'm working and you're like, hey, come get me from the airport, that's an hour of my time. And it saved you $20.
Yeah.
Certainly if I said, hey, Char, I'm going to take an hour off of work and give you $20, you say, no, you create more value for me and Charisma on Command in the podcast in the hour of work than the $20.
Sure.
So it is, in some sense, more valuable for us to each Uber while the other one is at home doing something productive for the businesses.
Exactly. If you're measuring dollars, if that is your metric, which is exactly why I do those things. And another thing is that I was talking about massages. The nice thing about a transaction is that you're even. So oftentimes what I feel is if I'm receiving a massage from someone that I care about, once they hit the 5-minute mark, I feel uncomfortable because it's like, you don't want to be doing this anymore.
I've shared this feeling.
Yeah, and I feel that I need to give positive reinforcement. Yeah. Oh, that's nice. Oh, right there, you're doing like.
There are the rare people that do genuinely enjoy giving massages, but it's just not. If in the Venn diagram of people who will give you a massage, it's not 100% genuinely I enjoy this. A lot of it is I'm doing this for that positive feeling, for you to like me more. For you know what I mean?
And even that is transactional, and so I'm doing this for chips, and I think that I have probably my whole life, and I don't know that there's a better way. And I did MDMA, and it shows you a glimpse of it for a moment, but that there is a way that is. And I've experienced this because I'm a very touchy person, where I am giving you the massage with literally no expectation of reciprocation because I truly for myself enjoy it. And there are times when people say, no, I'm doing this for you. And really it comes with a hidden cost.
Yeah.
I have experienced moments where it's like, no, like I like to do this.
Probably not for an hour though.
Not for an hour. Not for an hour. Oh, not for an hour. And it's not great massage. It's like tickling. It's easy for me.
Yes.
So all this to say, that transactions are wonderful, and I don't want to get rid of the money economy, and I love that I can go down the road and get a massage for an hour and actually relax.
Yeah.
But what I've realized is that, or I'm starting to realize, and I'm curious about, and might totally change my mind, is that there's something that ought to be measured that is unquantifiable, that is not a dollar. That means, doesn't mean every time, but to receive a massage and just to enjoy it and not feel like I'm on the clock, which is often how I feel. Like I feel like, oh, I got to stop this. And I realized that the night after I was getting massage, and I was like, I constantly feel like I need this to stop. Like I'm going into debt when this is occurring. And I was like, oh, that's not healthy, because that's ideally not what love is about. It's not a ledger that is rough. It's not a ledger.
Well, this is a big takeaway I had from the book about nice guys. I forget what it's called.
Covert contracts.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so it's the sense that, so for instance, I'm dating a girl. I say, hey, will you give me a back rub? She says, yeah, no problem. And then I have a sense that in her mind, it's a covert contract that by doing this, she will expect something in return. And what I was more guilty of was the flip side of doing things and expecting in return some love even. You know what I mean? Like, not that I would pay the rent or pick you up from the airport or whatever it was, and in return I'd get your love. You know what I mean? Not your money back, not a reciprocal back rub, but get something. And what I tried to do for myself was be like, I'm not going to try to expect anything back. I'm going to try to remove my own covert contracts. And weirdly enough, it helped me with the flip side too, which is like, if I'm going to rub someone's back and try to just think of this as me doing something kind for them, it has helped me a little bit to, when I'm getting a back rub, not think that they'll expect anything else. Because if I'm not going to have a covert contract that helps me, weirdly enough, mentally, it's easier to not have a covert contract where I'm in debt.
To expect them not to. Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like, I expect us both to be honest.
Which is a covert contract. See, I'm doing this, so you'll do it too. Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, maybe it is. But it's
it's not.
It's not though, because it's just the
You're
same.
not holding them to it. It's just what I understand what you're saying. You're not holding them to doing that, but you're just not expecting them to have a covert contract.
Yeah, it almost seems like with the absence of assumptions, you just take people at their word.
Mm-hmm.
And so anytime you don't, so I'm like, oh, my neck hurts, and someone goes, oh, do you want a back rub? And I go, yeah, do you mind? And they go, no, I don't mind. Then I just go, okay, they don't mind. You know what I mean? You kind of just take people at their word more.
Yeah. Which, and to be fair, and I think that's not a bad way to live, I'm guarantee you're encountering covert contracts all the time that maybe, and you're just going,
oh, my goal is just to blow through them.
Yeah,
it's just to fuck them up and then get in a fight about it later and have a discussion about how
you need to say what you mean.
Yes.
And
yeah. Oh, I don't think it's like a perfect plan. But my goal is just to run right into that wall of being like, wait, why are you mad? We didn't have, and then have the conversation about what a covert contract is.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And so I haven't shifted tremendously on this, and there's a good chance the next time my parents visit, I'll tell them to get an Uber, especially as we get farther away from
So
this.
if you guys are listening, don't get your hopes up.
But it was the opening of an idea that I want to reflect on the things that I use money to accomplish, because I'm not a far cry away from paying for someone to say goodnight and for affection and for...
I also really don't want to... The kind of the underlying tone here is that is bad, so maybe Uber is bad. But I just want to say, like...
It's also possible there's no problem with that.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like, maybe this just is... We should just all stop judging people who want to spend their money the way they want to spend it.
Yeah.
And if they want to spend their money that they earned on OnlyFans, there shouldn't be a stigma of it.
Absolutely.
Maybe that's the answer.
And then really the only question is how's that working out for you?
Yeah.
That's the only question.
We haven't talked about this, but can I put out a little call to action? Do we still have the thing where people can put in their names and their numbers?
Yep.
If anyone subscribes to OnlyFans, we won't have the conversation on the podcast unless you want to. If you want to, we will. But if you're willing to just talk to Charlie, because he's interviewing people who produce content on OnlyFans, but I think it would help the video if you talk to someone who used it as a consumer.
Yeah.
So if anyone consumes it, you want to talk on the podcast publicly, we will. You want to talk privately, nothing recorded, that would be great too.
Yeah.
So just a little call to action if anybody uses OnlyFans to please hit us up. The link is in the description in the YouTube video.
Another thing that was said is that this particular person said she was sometimes surprised by how handsome, when she would get people in private and or otherwise in a relationship, these people were. And
they have girlfriends or boyfriends.
Girlfriends, well, I guess in their case, girlfriends or wives. And it's similar to why sometimes people have the experience or use prostitutes. The sense that I'm not paying them for sex, I'm paying them to go away, which is kind of the feel. It's like I want a relationship without what we're talking about, the baggage. It's like I want the upside, the nice things, the coziness, comfortability, and to be able to step back and walk away as I see fit. And I'm not sure how healthy or unhealthy that is. I really don't know, but it does seem like increasingly in society we are trying to get, which is understandable, the upsides of as many things as we can. We want the upsides of relationships, of our jobs, of this, that, without the downside. And at first blush, you're like, yeah, that's a great fucking strategy for life, is try to capture the good things while letting go of the bad. And I'm wondering if it's possible that we might have mislabeled some of the bad. I don't know.
Sure, you don't understand the downstream effects of it.
Yes, you don't understand the downstream effects of completely divorcing yourself from the negative aspects of relationships. Or maybe it's just great to only have pure positivity in these things. So I don't know. But I'm in there. I'm learning. I've started to dive in. They declined the credit card, so I can't yet be a consumer beyond like the initial page, though. Hope that you guys enjoyed that clip. If you want to see more like this and have us do more podcasts, we are 100% funded by our generous patrons. And if you'd like to contribute, there's a link in the description, and we'll have one pop up on the screen right here so that we can do more podcasts where we have fun conversations and hopefully some deep ones like this. Either way, hope that you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one.